Some days the trout will take anything you throw at them. Other days, fly fishing is a game of precision. It's all about rewinding and casting again until you get it right. Because you know the trout are there, and they'll only take if you change to 7X, cast a few inches closer to the bank, and throw in a perfect mend.
The first day on the Blackwater, we stayed in this very remote lodge. It was on this lake. It was, I mean, waking up in the morning and standing outside, you could see, you know, the lake was just dead calm and you could see all the way across. When I had researched the Blackwater and heard about the Blackwater, all I heard was kind of the numbers. Like it's a, you know, you catch a lot of fish on the Blackwater. And so I had this expectation when I showed up that we were just gonna, you know, just be catching fish after fish after fish. And I think when you have that expectation, you can kind of, you know, think of the should have, or this is the way it should be, rather than kind of the mindset of what is. And I think as an angler, you want to have that mindset of what is, because then you can be more versatile and actually take the time to figure things out. From the lodge that we stayed at, it was, you know, another probably half an hour or 40 minutes till we met our guide in the morning, and it was all on, you know, dirt road.
So we get to the boat launch, and it's a bit of a fumble trying to get everybody packed up in the boats, and the water looks fantastic. I mean, it's a little bit dark, but it's definitely clear. And we see some fish jumping, but we're not entirely sure what's going on out there.
There's no chance at any type of cell coverage. You're not seeing, you know, you're not seeing cell towers. You're not seeing, you know, there's no hustle and bustle. It was one of those absolutely classic times where it's like, okay, why are the fish not coming up? Let's actually pull aside and figure things out. Got a little bit antsy and I looked upstream, and I broke away from the group a little bit and went, okay, I need to fish that water, because that water, there's going to be trout in it. There is no doubt in my mind that there's going to be trout in it, and we just have to figure it out. And so, so I headed up there. It was just this, you know, this beautiful run that was broken at the top by this, you know, this log structure that kind of stood out. So there was a seam that came down, and there was depth that had everything that it needed to hold trout. And as I was moving up, I had a couple of, I was still dry fly fishing. I had a couple of rises. But I didn't get anything until I actually cast into that log structure. As soon as I placed that fly up there, it had enough flow that the fish didn't have time to think about what they were taking, and sure enough, a fish came up right away. I was almost at a place where where mentally I wasn't ready for it, and so I missed the first one. And then I shot it straight back up. I shot the fly straight back up into there, and on the second drift through, I was into a fish.
So I asked Doug to tie on the smallest fly that he has because I can see midges hatching, and I think he misheard me because he ties on a mouse, and I roll my eyes, and sure enough, it worked.
On the second day of the trip, we were told that it was going to be a little bit more of a trek in. And when you're told that it's going to be a little bit more of a trek in this part of the country, they mean it's going to be a little bit more of a trek in.
So we meet up with the guys yesterday, and already I know it's going to be an exciting day because they show up with these Tonka truck style trailers behind these quads, and it just looks so hardcore. Somehow we managed to make it to the destination and managed to catch a lot of fish. So we had to work hard to get there, but when we got there, it was worth it.
Definitely wasn't easy to get to, but it was one of those spots where you're like, okay, I need to be there because there's going to be fish there.
today, it was just amazing. And you know, you always feel like a superstar when the fishing's fantastic.
It was a fun trip in. I've never actually done anything like that before.
Right? Okay, so how many trout have you caught in your life?
Lots of trips.
Okay, do you remember them all?
I don't.
How many of those trips have you had in your life?
That was my first. That was my first one of those.
Will you ever forget it?
I won't. No.